welcome Minister Damien English here, and I suppose with your responsibility for employment affairs and retail businesses, really important what we're discussing here. And also to Senator Emer Curry, I mean, all the work that she has done on the remote working and I suppose the strategy that has come forward. The remote working strategy was recently launched by the Department of Business Enterprise, and I suppose it talks about 3 pillars, creating an environment for remote working to flourish. I suppose secondly, that you're looking at the remote working infrastructure, and then thirdly, policies to support this. And the goal, 20% of the public sector to be working remotely. I mean, that's fantastic to see that, and that will happen hopefully in the next number of years. And it's setting an example by the government. And in this strategy, it speaks to how remote working will offer more flexibility. And that can only be a positive, particularly for women or for working, for working mums or single parents, people with disabilities, people who are carers. And it mentions all of this in that report about how it can really change how people will be able to access doing their roles remotely without having to do a commute. And even along on the environmental side as well, just the very basic thing of reducing the drive. I've just driven 2 hours myself here from Ballinasloe. So imagine that that's removed for people to not have to do those long commutes. We are in such a period of change. And yes, as has been mentioned, the rights associated with remote working are very important. And in the report, it does speak to that. It speaks about how we need to have a balance between remote working, but we cannot lose the dynamic nature of when people come together to brainstorm. And we all know the importance of that. And I think it is mentioned in the report as well. I suppose the infrastructure, Minister, is something that I'm really looking at. Because 2 years ago, 2 schools in East Galway were judged the worst in the country in terms of download speeds. 2 schools. So that meant that children in the west of Ireland did not have equal access to education. But what Fine Gael has done in terms of driving the national broadband and the rollout of broadband, and I suppose with National Broadband Ireland, is that now we are able to see that rollout is happening, that schools are able to access this. There's a school, a Gael school in Ballinasloe, that has told me just even today that they cannot and aren't able to download. They work from home because they cannot work from the school place. So it's really, really important for education, for business. It's just about having equal opportunity. I suppose we are supporting employers and employees and self-employed across the country. I suppose just in terms of Ballinasloe and the area of South Roscommon and East Galway, we're going to have over 3,300 premises connected by May and June. And that's areas like including Clontuskert, Ahaskra, Kilconnell, Ballydangan and Moore. We're one of the top 5 priority areas, which is amazing because there are such black spots in East Galway and South Roscommon. And that's going to include schools and, for farmers, marts as well, because marts are outside of that zone. I suppose just in relation to the supports that the government have given, both at secondary school level and at 3rd level, for devices, so that students from disadvantaged areas can actually access education is so crucial. So really just to acknowledge that. And I suppose just very finally, and thank you, Cahir, just again, grow remote, and that the Just Transition funding has been crucial for remote working hubs that have been supported in areas in the Midlands and in the West. So thank you very much for your time.